Welcome to the Kalla Ensemble sewing tutorial, presented by moodfabrics.com. The Kalla Ensemble contains 3 separate patterns: a dress, top, and skirt, as well as an optional belt. The skill level of this pattern is advanced, with collars, shoulder panels, plackets, buttons, and lots of decorative top stitching details. The Kalla Ensemble sewing tutorials will be focused on the skirt and top only. The dress is essentially a 2-in-1 without the waistband, so we feel confident that after watching these tutorials and using the illustrated instructions provided with the pattern, you'll have all the information needed to sew the dress. So let's get started. For this video, we will be sewing the skirt. The Kalla skirt contains the following pieces. We have the skirt front pocket, cut 2 mirrored, the skirt front pocket flap, cut 2 mirrored, the skirt back center, cut 1 on fold, the skirt back side, cut 2 mirrored, the skirt front side, cut 2 mirrored, the skirt front center, cut 2 mirrored, and the skirt waistband, cut 1. Please note, the belt and belt loops are not pictured here, but we will show them later in this video. As this is a sample garment, we're not finishing the raw edges, but we do recommend that you choose a finishing method that suits your fabric best. A 1/2-inch seam allowance is included in this pattern. Make sure all notches and placement guides are transferred to your fabric. Find the list of notions needed, pattern piece layout, and suggested fabrics in your sewing guide. With the pocket right side up, fold and pin the notches to the center of the pocket so they meet to form an inverted box pleat. If you prefer to do a classic box pleat instead, do this on the fabric's wrong side. Both options look great, so experiment with this to determine your preference. Repeat this step with the remaining pocket. Press the pockets well. Let's continue prepping the pockets. If you're finishing the raw edges with a serger or a zigzag stitch, do so now. To help the rounded corners fold cleanly, we need to sew a basting stitch along the seam allowance at the corners. Set your machine to its longest stitch length and leave the thread tails long. We'll pull those threads soon, so don't backstitch here. Sew around the corners with a 1/2-inch seam allowance. Take your time, making sure to sew the curves nicely. If you aren't confident sewing a tight curve, lower the needle and lift the presser foot to pivot the fabric. Sew a few stitches and repeat until you've gotten around the curve. Pull the thread tails and ease the gathers through the curves. The edges around the curve should curl up and no gathers should be detectable from the right side. Press the edges to the wrong side. Double fold the top edge down towards the wrong side and press. Sew the top fold of the pocket. Tip: if you're having trouble sewing over bulky seams, you can make your own hump jumper by folding scrap fabric over a few times. With your needle down, lift the presser foot and nestle the folded fabric behind the needle. Drop the presser foot back down and continue sewing. This should help you easily sew over the bulk. Let's prepare the pocket flaps. If you're finishing the raw edges with a serger or a zigzag stitch, do so now. Fold and press the edges down 1/2 inch to the wrong side. If you prefer the edges to be entirely hidden, here are a few alternative methods. Double fold 1/4 inch to the wrong side and sew. Or cut 4 pattern flaps instead of 2. Sew each pair right sides together, turn right sides out, and press. Whichever method you choose, finish the pocket flaps with a top stitch around the folded edge. Although optional, these top stitching details help elevate the overall look of the garment. We used a top stitching foot for this step, but you can also line up the pocket flap's edge to the 3/8 or 1/2 inch guideline on your machine's faceplate. Now let's get started on the button placket. Place the front skirt wrong side up. Notice the notch closest to the center front edge. This is where we will make our first fold along the entire length of the skirt. Press the fold well. Fold again, this time at the second notch, along the entire length of the skirt, and press well. Sew lengthwise along the folded edge. The front edges of your skirt are now complete. Let's begin sewing the back of the skirt. Unfold the skirt back center and lay flat right side up. Place the skirt back sides onto the skirt back, right sides together, aligning the straight edges. Tip: when sewing together two pieces whose corners have different angles, align at the seam allowance, not the corners. This ensures an even edge when the seam is pressed open. This is common at waists and curved hems. Once everything is in place, pin together and sew. If you're using a serger or another stitch to prevent fraying, finish the edges before moving on. Otherwise, press the seam open. After you've sewn on and pressed both skirt back sides, you should now have a complete back skirt. From now on, we will be calling this the back skirt. Now, place the skirt front sides onto the back skirt, right sides together. Align the curved seams and pin. Sew the pieces together at the side seams and press. A tailor's ham is helpful when pressing a hip curve, but if you don't have one, the curve on the small rounded end of an ironing board will do in a pinch. With most of your skirt panels assembled, place the remaining pieces, the skirt fronts, onto the skirt, right sides together. Align the raw edges, sew together, and press well. Fold your waistband lengthwise, right sides together, and sew the ends together. Trim the seam allowance and clip the folded corners. Turn right side out and press. This is a good time to check that the length of the waistband matches the waist. With the skirt and the waistband folded in half, align the raw edges to make sure that they are the same length. This skirt is comprised of 7 panels, which means that if all those seams don't have the correct seam allowance, the waistband won't match up. So if you need to make any adjustments, do so now. Place the waistband against the right side of the skirt and align the folded edges. Open up the waistband and pin the side that's facing the skirt to the skirt's waist. When you get to the side seam, you'll notice the waist is angled. To keep the raw edges aligned, you'll need to manipulate the angle so it's straight, as shown. Continue to pin until you reach the other end and then sew together. When sewing that angled waist, take your time, straightening the waist as you sew on the band. After you sew the front of the waistband to the skirt, take a moment to make sure the waistband width is even at the center front, where the waistband will overlap when buttoned. Make adjustments if necessary, then continue sewing the waistband. Press the seam allowance up towards the waistband. Fold and press the inner waistband edge so it just covers the seam below. Tip: press small strips of fusible tape to the inside of the fold. This will keep things precise and prevent the fold from shifting when you are sewing. It's now time to complete the waistband by using the stitch in the ditch method. Stitch in the ditch simply means to sew directly into the ditch of a seam, making the stitches invisible from the right side while attaching the underside. This method is used often when attaching waistbands, edge binding, and to secure facings and linings from shifting. To stitch in the ditch, you'll need to sew the outer waistband facing up. If you didn't secure the folded edge on the underside with fusible tape, as previously shown, you'll need to pin the underside in place. Stitch into the ditch along the entire waistband. After you finish attaching the waistband, it's now time to top stitch around the entire waistband. Due to the bulk, starting your stitches at the folded edge might prove to be difficult. If need be, make another hump jumper to start your stitches off smoothly. The amount of top stitching is up to you. I chose to sew 2 rows on the top and bottom. Now let's get started on attaching the pockets. If you need to mark the pocket placement, do so now. Pin the pockets onto the skirt, then edge stitch them on. Add the decorative top stitching to the pocket. Add the decorative top stitching to the pocket flap sides and bottom, leaving the top edge unsewn for now. Pin the pocket flap to the skirt, centering it above the pocket. Top stitch the top edge of the pocket flap onto the skirt, completing the parallel stitch lines that frame the pocket flap. After your pockets are sewn on, hem the skirt. Fold under the bottom edge 1/2 inch and press. Fold 1/2 inch again and press. Sew the hem of the skirt. Let's get started on the buttons. Mark your buttons on the wearer's left side. Note, there aren't any designated buttons or buttonhole markings on this pattern. The placement is up to you. I chose to space the buttons out every 3 inches. Switch out the standard presser foot with the buttonhole foot and set the machine to the buttonhole stitch setting. Test a buttonhole or 2 on some scrap fabric before starting to sew on the skirt. This will help to make sure everything not only looks good, but it'll give you the width you need to mark out the buttonholes on the skirt. I like to cut the test buttonhole out and place it on the garment. It helps me decide on its orientation, and I can visualize exactly where it's going. Lay the plackets side by side and use the button markings on the right as a guide to where the buttonholes should be marked on the left. Mark where the buttonholes will go on the fabric, either by using chalk, a washable pen, or you can even use pins. My preferred method, as shown here, is to use pins to mark each end of the buttonhole. When using the buttonhole foot, it can sometimes be challenging to see where the markings are on the fabric, but as you can see here, the pins peek out on the sides, which gives me more precision. Here I'm using the bottom pin as a starting point for where the bottom of the buttonhole needs to start. I'm carefully lowering the machine needle by hand so that it touches the bottom pin. Once I have that set, I remove the needle and begin sewing the buttonhole. Continue sewing your buttonholes on the skirt. Mark the buttonholes on the pocket flaps and sew. It's now time to open the buttonholes. Place a pin through the buttonhole on one end. On the other end, use a seam ripper to carefully open up the buttonhole. The pin will act as a stopper, preventing the seam ripper from tearing past the buttonhole. Quickly double-check the placement of the buttons. Lay the right placket with the buttonholes directly on top of the left placket so it sits where it should when buttoned. Stick a pin in the very center of each buttonhole, making sure they aren't going in at an angle. We want to see where the pin point ends up on the placket beneath. Carefully lift the placket up to reveal the pins. Sew your buttons on either by machine as we are here or by hand. If you aren't adding the optional belt and belt loops, your skirt is complete and ready to be worn. Keep watching to see how we made the belt. For this section, you'll need the belt loops, and a self-covered buckle. Right sides together, sew the belt pieces, leaving the short end free. Trim the seam allowance, clip the curves, and use a loop turner to bring the belt right side out. Press the belt well. Top stitch the belt. Fold your belt loop piece lengthwise, right sides together. Sew together with a 1/8 inch seam allowance and trim the excess. Use a loop turner to bring it right side out and then press. Cut the belt loop strips as indicated on the pattern piece. If the belt loop got stretched, just cut the excess off. Use the width of the belt to determine the finished length of the belt loops. Leave a little extra room so the belt can easily move through the loops. Pin the loops onto the skirt, leaving enough room in the front center for the belt buckle. Align the loops to the side seams and pin. Use the loops on the front as a guide for the placement on the back. Use a hump jumper to easily sew over the folded belt loop edges. You can either use a regular stitch or a short and narrow zigzag stitch for a bar tack-like effect. Once your belt loops are complete, thread the belt in and mark where you want to install the eyelets. Install the eyelets. If needed, refer to the instructions provided by the manufacturer of your tools. Cut a square of fabric large enough to cover the sticker provided on the self-covered buckle kit. Follow the instructions provided in the kit to complete the belt buckle. Fold the straight edge over the bar in the middle of the belt to mark where the eyelet for the prong goes. Then install the eyelet. Sew the belt onto the buckle. Your Kalla skirt is now complete and ready to be worn. Thank you for joining us. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe for more sewing content, and join us for part 2, where we will be sewing the Kalla top. Don't forget to visit moodfabrics.com to download your Kalla premium sewing pattern, which includes the Kalla top, the skirt, and the dress. And as always, happy sewing!